turned out to be the right thing.
Bob's car is going to be Team 7, Chrissy, Rashonda, and Juan Paulo.
We can't take vehicles back here. You'll see why. We run out of road real quick. Come on, guys. Colonia is a name. It's a Spanish word for neighborhood, but here it's taken on a new meaning. It's the word to refer to a place of cardboard houses. I was on a vacation doing a little R&R, and I was looking for a good Mexican restaurant in Mexico, and I got lost. And I made a wrong turn, and when I turned off the road, I saw a lady stand in front of a cardboard house. I was just overwhelmed. I thought, surely she can't be living here, because I was only about a mile from the United States border. So I drove a little closer, and as I did, I found that there were hundreds and hundreds of these cardboard houses. And I've been a policeman all my life, so I know that the only way to really understand people is to go back to the people. So every other weekend I would find a new colonia in a new small town, or sometimes a large town like Acuna, and I would go exploring with a translator, and I would start talking to the people to find out the truth. So the people, they homestead the land, eventually they buy the land, and they put up these cardboard houses, and then eventually, peso by peso, they make enough money to start to buy these cinder blocks. Hi, I got the roof fixed. Hi. Good, good.
Compré cemento.
Hi.
Cement.
You bought cement. And this is a,
Este es el recibo por el dinero que le dio.
each cinder block costs about 50 cents. When they have enough, they will replace this simple cardboard house with a very small cinder block house, still living in poverty. Tell him I can give him another $60 now, and when I return in 3 weeks, I'll get that receipt, and then perhaps I can give him more money, a little bit at a time.
$60 más.
No, pues gracias.
No, de nada.
Sí, sí.
I started giving talks in local schools and brought people down. One thing led to another, and now we've got an organization.
It was basically just a few people that came and just started seeing the needs in Mexico.
Today we've got about 25 people that came from all over Houston.
People down here have real needs. They have real needs, and I think it's our obligation to try to help those that we can.
Being Americans, you think everything you get every day, you take it for granted. It's a reality check, and that's why I come back, and plus I love the kids, so.
I've known Chrissy now, I guess 3 or 4 years. Her dad came down, she was about 14 years old. But I'll be honest with you, Chrissy didn't want to be here. You could tell this wasn't her thing.
And my parents basically dragged me, and they were just like, you're coming, I don't care what you say.
The first night she was here, it was obvious she didn't want to be here, and by the second night, it was obvious she never wanted to leave.
It's definitely changed me. It's given me a broader perspective. It's made me see how lucky I am to have what I have. To know me as one person can come down here and make a difference in more than one person's life. It's just changed me.
But she's starting to assume more responsibility around the house. Part of it's growing up, but I think part of it is being down here and being around people that have a totally different viewpoint on life.
I'm glad I came.
The reason I bring them over is not because we want to distribute beans and rice, although we do those things, but it's for what the colonias will give to these people. I'm hoping they'll get what I've gotten out of this, because it has just turned my life upside down. It really has. Everything's taken on a new meaning and a new significance. God's fingerprints are on every single thing we do. This is just one giant chain, and it's just another link each time we come. What do they need most back here for the colonia, the whole colonia?
Aquí, ¿qué es lo que más necesitan en toda la colonia?
Realmente la luz,
La luz,
agua.
agua.
Lights and water.
Yeah, lights and
Lights and water. Tell them the organization, we will try to return to this colonia approximately every 3 weeks. There's 50,000 people living here like this, 50,000. And they don't want to come to the United States. They want to make their dream happen here. And we just need to give them a little bit of opportunity, a little bit of chance. Been a police officer for over 30 years. Been to accidents, shootings, and the emotion, you learn to control it. You choke it down and you do your job. And what shocks me is that I can't stay in control of my emotions in this place. That's a good thing. It's opening up my soul. I wonder if when I die, how am I going to account for that time that I wasted and the people that I could have helped? And is that going to be the punishment that I'll have to face? That I would see like a movie, all of the children and all of the people my entire life I could have been helping, but I was too busy. I had to have a newer car or a bigger place to live or newer clothes, and never bothered to make the time.
Up next, we're going to see just how far Bob Decker has come since that fateful day we just watched. and he's going to join us right here on our set. So stick around. You don't want to miss meeting this guy. It's no secret, and police officers, you're smiling, police officers are not just sworn to protect, but they're here to serve as well. And as we've seen, my next guest has served the public very well. After 25 years on the force, he's now devoting his life to helping those who have nothing, zero zip zilch. Please welcome Bob Decker and one of his volunteers, Christina Greben. We're talking about turning points on today's show, and when our producers found your story, they just went, oh my gosh. So tell us about how you got lost. And
I was driving into Colonias looking for a nice restaurant. I didn't want to go to the typical tourist trap, and made a wrong turn and saw a woman out there just living in a cardboard box.
You
and
said you couldn't believe
I was stunned.
She was living there.
I was stunned. And Naomi, when I crested the hill, I saw hundreds and hundreds of people living like this, and I thought, you know, I got angry with God, to be honest. I said, you better fix this mess. And little did I know that the mess that he was fixing was me.
Oh, that's an interesting way of putting it.
Well, it's true. It's true. You know, you get so caught up in what's needs and what's wants. And then recently, well, reasonably recently, you know, I met Oscar, and that was still another turning point.
Tell us about Oscar and his family.
Well, we were kind of exploring a new area, and we're giving out rice and beans. It was the end of the day, bone tired, and I don't know what, at the time, I didn't know what possessed me to say, let's go to that house, because there were many others. And in fact, somebody even suggested, no, how about this one over here? And I said, no, we're going to go to this one. And there I met this little boy. He was 5 years old then, and he'd already had 6 brain operations for cancer. And his family, in spite of that, in spite of living in this cardboard existence, they were happy. They were real upbeat. They focused on the good things in life. And we ended up building a house for Oscar. We ended up taking care of some of the medical bills. And for a while, it looked like Oscar was going to make it. The doctors were stunned. And then, unfortunately, right after, you know, I'm a cop, and I can shut this down as a cop, and I just can't do this with this kid.
You've been shoving
this
down
kid, man, he does it to me. Okay. When I met the little boy, and we thought he was going to do better, and then right after his birthday in March, he turned 6. We had a birthday party, cake, the whole thing. Everything was great. We were tossing a football around in the front yard, and then a week or two later, the doctor said that the cancer had ate up his liver, and they said there's just nothing more to be done for the little boy. And at the time, I was real confused because he hung on for so long, Naomi, and it was just incredible, and we wanted the suffering to stop. And now looking back on it, I realized the reason he hung on for so long was it really word about what we were doing with this little boy got out in the community. We were going in a new direction, and then people started coming forward with children with another little baby with cancer, a child that they were going to amputate his foot. And we took him to the surgeon. The doctor said that the child had injured his foot with a nail. They were going to amputate. It was a little 9-year-old child. I said, get me another surgeon. And we did. We found a surgeon, and they saved the foot. They saved the foot. I don't know what you did 2 Wednesdays ago, but 2 Wednesdays ago, we were saving a foot. I mean, what a great thing.
So you're saying you went from just giving him water and beans and rice and maybe electricity, but now you're also doing medical stuff.
Absolutely.
Saving lives.
Absolutely.
And I know,
and it's children.
I know that you took 20 months of unused vacation and your own money to do some of this work too.
Well, that's true. That's true. But it's you couldn't stop me. You couldn't stop me. I love it. I love it. It's what it does to us. It's what it does for us inside.
Isn't it fascinating that we think we're helping somebody else, and it turns out it engrosses us. It makes us feel fulfilled and satisfied and alive.
Well, not just that, but we start to understand what the difference is between a need and what a want is.
Yeah.
You know, how many times do we say, I need those shoes, or I need that suit, or I need that new car? And the truth is, those are just wants. And the people there, they have needs. And when you talk to someone and maybe their cardboard house burned down, we met this lady, her cardboard house burned down. She's staying with some friends, and we said, what else do you need? And she said, well, nothing. And she's holding a little infant and her little child in her arms. And I said, well, perhaps another outfit for the child. And she said, oh, no, we have 2 outfits for the child already. We don't need another one. And I thought, my gosh, they live on their faith.
Yeah.
They really do. They live on their faith.
Christine and I were talking about this, and you're a beautiful young girl, and we were talking about how frustrated we get that today's youth has no idea how to make themselves feel real happiness and real a sense of self-worth.
Right. Well, for me, going to Mexico, it basically changed me. It made me realize that, oh, this cell phone that I want or this car that I want, it means nothing. It really, family and a relationship with your friends is more important. My first time I ever went to Mexico, I didn't want to go.
Your dad talked you into it.
My dad was like, hey, guess what you're doing this weekend? You're going to Mexico. And my first time I walked in and I saw these people and I made this connection with them, I decided that I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go home and I'm going to do what I can as a single person and try and get more people involved, get more youth involved in doing this. So I went with Bob to many different high schools and
So you're doing public speaking?
a little bit in front of people my age. It wasn't quite as, public, but
it's so appropriate for you to be talking to kids who are in the same age group and the same cultural standards that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And what you left out, Naomi, is that when we read that food kitchen the first time, everybody was emptying their wallets helping with the project, and we were $45 short for electricity, as I recall, and she couldn't get her babysitting money out fast enough. I mean, it just...
Well, speaking of, we want to give you a check from our show, Naomi's New Morning.
Thank you very much,
That'll
Naomi.
do some good down there.
Thank you very much.
Very proud to be part of it. And God bless you guys. Keep doing and keep telling and getting everybody involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you very
Wow,
much.
what a cool story. And if you've got a hunger for juicy